This is the part of her income that is paid for by the British taxpayer. It's quite complicated, but there's something called the Crown Estate, which owns large parts of London and shopping centres around the UK and all the coastline. And a proportion of the income from the Crown Estate goes to the Queen to pay for her public work, so state banquets and upkeep of all of those buildings, for example. And the Crown Estate has been doing really well. So her proportion of that income has gone up by 5%. So effectively a pay rise, which anti-monarchy groups are outraged about because most of the public sector in this country either on a pay freeze or they're going into a redundancy mode. So there's some controversy about that, but certainly her income has gone up, and the palace has said they're not going to reject it, even though there's been calls for them to reject it, because they're behind on this big maintenance programme with all the palaces. And they point out that they look after St James's Palace, Buckingham Palace, Windsor Castle, all sorts of different things, and it's very expensive. So $47 million is what she was paid by the taxpayer last year, effectively, Hala.
And are Brits, when you ask them, happy to have public money spent on the monarchy? Are they still, in their vast majority, happy to fund that institution?
Generally, they're positive, but of course there are detractors. One thing that came out of the accounts today, which did sort of surprise a few people, was that despite this backlog of maintenance on all of the main palaces, there is an apartment, a grand apartment, something like 20 rooms in Kensington Palace, which the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge are going to be moving into after the baby. And they've had to completely renovate it. They found all of these problems, and they're spending $1.7 million on that, which a lot of people think is far too much. But they are literally gutting it and putting a new roof on. So that's a justification. And it's the future king and his future heir as well.